Alright, what we're going to discuss are the various machines for welding and some of the equipment that you need to have for welding. First, you have to be dressed appropriately because there's going to be hot sparks and metal flying. There's going to be hot stuff around everywhere. You're always going to want to assume that anything in this area is hot. Never come in and just touch something or pick it up. Assume that it is hot. Test before you touch it. That being said, you're going to want to wear clothes that are appropriate. I would suggest that you wear leather shoes, you have cotton pants, you have a leather vest or apron on. You will need welding gloves. Regular gloves will not work. These are insulated gloves. You will need a welding helmet. This helmet has controls on the inside of it that we'll go over in detail later, but this will protect your eyes. In addition to that, you're going to need some basic tools. You're going to need a pair of pliers or cutters that you can use to cut the wire off. In some cases, depending upon which operation you're working, you're going to need a slag hammer to knock off the slag off of the weld. And you're going to need a wire brush to clean that up. In all cases, whenever you're welding, you have to make sure that you have a clean surface to work with. And that will be discussed in material preparation, welding material preparation. You have to know what kind of metal you're working with, and you have to prepare the edges correctly. And for that, we're going to set up one of the welders. Alright, what we're going to do is demonstrate the proper technique for working the wand or the working end, the welding end of the device that you're working with. You want to make sure that the machine is set up appropriately for the material you're working with. That includes the thickness and the type. You want to make sure that the distance that this is sticking out is appropriate for the length, which is about 1/4 inch. And so we're going to do another weld here. Welding. And there's, just keep it rolling. Okay. There's a case where it didn't strike, so we need to cut the excess wire off to the appropriate length, which is about 1/4 inch. Make sure we're grounded and try it again. Welding. Alright, what we're going to talk about is the fundamentals of welding and what is referred to as pool control. When you're welding, you're taking the electric current, you're applying it to the material, it's heating that material and turning it into a liquid. That liquid turns into a small pool depending upon the size of the rod or the size of the input material as to what happens. But control of that pool is important, and that's what you're going to be watching. You watch the pool because as you move it around from the liquid metal in the middle all the way out to the outside edge, which could be as little as 1/8 of an inch. That distance goes from liquid to solid. Where you move that pool around is what results in your weld. If you look at a weld that is finished and you see the ridges that are back and forth in it, that's where that metal cooled. As you're moving the stick around, that's what's determining where those ridges are. So if you take your control stick or your rod and you're moving it back and forth like this, you're going to see that in the weld. If you're moving it around like this, you're going to see that in the weld when it's finished. So I'm going to give you a closer example of the different ways that you can do that on the piece of metal here. We are not going to be actually welding, I'm just going to be moving the tip. So when you're trying to control the pool and the arc starts, there are multiple ways of moving the tip. One way is kind of an E fashion, a lowercase e, where you basically just circle around and progress the weld down. Another way of doing it is kind of a U shape, where you just go back and forth, up and back, up and back. Another way you can do it is just drag it straight down and let it build up. Obviously, the wider the weld that you're making, the more movement you're going to want. If it's narrow, like this crack or cut that's in here, there's the potential of just moving it straight down the weld and letting stuff build up naturally without doing any movement. Okay, what we're going to be talking about now is controlling the weld pool of hot metal. Once you start to weld, there will be a hot pool that fills, and you can control where that pool goes by the movement of this. When you move the tip around, you can move it in multiple fashions. One suggestion is basically doing lowercase e's in kind of a lowercase e fashion. Another way to do it is kind of a U shape where you go back and forth around like this. On a narrow weld, it may be possible just to run the bead straight down the weld. It doesn't make any difference what size of rod it is, the movement is the same. You're going to be doing E shapes or U shapes or just letting it run straight down. What I'd like to do is introduce you to some of the welding equipment that we have. The first device I want to talk about is this device right here. This is what I refer to as an old-fashioned stick welder. It welds with a welding rod, and you put the welding rod into the electrode holder here. You have your piece of work that you're going to be welding either on the table, and you connect the two together. This completes the circuit. In doing that, you adjust the current level based on the rod size and the thickness of the material that you're working with. So it's very important that you know what material you're going to be working with, predominantly mild steel. The thickness will determine the size of the welding rod. There are different kinds of welding rods, so again it has to match the material. I can tell this one here is kind of a light gray. This is a 6013. This welding rod is a general purpose welding rod. Does a very good job. I will tell you up front, it is sticky. When you try and start an arc to start it, it's going to want to stick in place. It's really hard to get started. There's another rod, it's called a 7014. It's a darker brown color. It is a whole lot easier to start and weld and keep the bead going. So that's basically a stick welder. You'll find these at a lot of garages, that sort of thing. Been around for a long time. All right, what I'd like to introduce you now is the Lincoln Electric. It's a Power MIG. MIG stands for Metal Inert Gas. This is a gas bottle. The gas bottle feeds the gas into this nozzle, creates a bubble of gas here for the weld to take place. The way this works is if you open this panel, there's a spool of wire and a feeding mechanism. As soon as you pull this trigger, it turns the gas on and feeds the wire. This panel up here shows you, depending upon the thickness of the material that you're working with, as to the gas settings, the wire feed, and the voltage. Those are all controlled on the front panel, and I'm going to switch around now and talk about that. All right, the control panels for the MIG welder on the front, there's an on and off switch. These knobs you don't worry about, they'll be set for you. The basically ones that you're interested in are the wire feed speed and the voltage. So when we power this on, those light up. Side panel, where I showed you the appropriate settings for the metal that you're working with, you just turn these knobs to reflect the appropriate values. Right now, the wire speed is small. The gas is off, so there will be no gas, but when I pull this trigger, see that wire feeding out. If I turn this up to that, you'll notice it goes out a whole lot faster. So, depending upon what the settings are for the appropriate material as to what this is set at. I want to introduce you to the Pro 100. This is another arc welding machine. The distinction between this machine and the gas welding that we talked about earlier is with the gas welding, the gas is what keeps that bubble of gas available in the arc area. On this machine, what creates that gas bubble is the flux that is actually inside the wire. That's why it's got a lot finer point onto it. As with the other device, you open up the side, it's in essence the same thing. There's a spool of wire, a feed mechanism. When you pull this trigger, it feeds the wire. Has a chart, gives you the material sizes, the wire that you're using, and so you set the knobs on the front appropriately for the material that you're using. On and off switch here. These knobs turn to various numbers and various letters. So in essence, the thinner the material and the slower the wire speed. You have thicker material, you want to put more voltage into it, and you're going to run the wire faster. That's the difference between the machines.